Okay. So this order is for a tiny tee with black bindings, and the color is the Granite microstripe. So you can see it's kind of like a heathered, it's a very fine heathered knit. We really love the microstripe. It seems like a little drapier and lighter, even though it's the same weight as all of our everyday jersey, but it's super rolly. So
that Amelia is so adorable.
Is she?
Yes.
Oh, and it's sunny in Vancouver.
Yep.
It rolls up as soon as you cut it, so it can be difficult to A, keep track of the pattern pieces, and B, stitch together. But we still really like it. So and it's a little shrinky too, so if you order something from us and it arrives and it's too long, that's why. We're not ignoring you, we're trying to think ahead. Nope. That sleeve goes on the other shoulder. That's correct. Okay. I got turned around in my head. I'm trying to figure out how to make videos just with this cracked iPad here, and so I dug out a video camera I bought a million years ago, and we had decluttered the charger, so I ordered a battery charger for it, but I took some test video today and it shot beautifully, but I can't transfer the video using the USB cord unless I have the actual power adapter, which we don't have. So I'm gonna see if I can get a memory card for it so that we can just use a memory card reader to transfer the video over onto a device, and then I can do top down and like a video that can see my face at the same time, maybe, because right now I don't have a way to mount my iPad, and also I can't see myself with it because I have to use the regular camera, not the front-facing camera that just shoots through a cracked screen. So it's been an adventure trying to figure out how to do this, but I hope it's enjoyable. And I had a lot of fun editing those closed captionings, but I realized that as a self-taught seamstress, I just haven't had to really clearly articulate what I'm doing before. So I didn't learn the language. Well, I shouldn't say self-taught. My grandma and my mom both taught me to sew, but it's been a long time since any of that happened. So I just find words like end or cuff, like in that last video, were very imprecise, and I think it would be a good exercise for me to talk more and come up with a better language. So, definitely adventuring. But when I pulled out that video camera, I came across video from 2015 of me sewing and Sive coming in and telling me stories, so it's things have not changed all that much here. Except there are more sewing machines and fewer spots for kids to sit and talk to me. Also, my kid isn't a kid anymore. I think she's 22? I don't know. Anyway. This tiny tee was one of my first patterns, and it was a knockoff of a really beautiful knitted t-shirt that I knew I couldn't make, but I loved the pattern anyway. So it's unique because it has an offset back of shoulder, like top of shoulder, that sits back from your top of shoulder. We don't do that anymore just because with the made to measure, it's easier to keep track of adjustments that we make if the top of the shoulder is centered on the top of the shoulder. And it has a very wide scoop that's bound, and that can be more tricky with bra strap coverage, which a lot of people are concerned about. But sometimes it's nice to keep those older patterns around just for nostalgia's sake. I think it's a fairly snug sleeve as well. If you have sensitive armpits, I would go for an easy peasy, sensitive or sweaty. I would go for an easy peasy, or the daisy tee is something that's newer and is cut in a little bit of a more modern way. So a very generous sleeve and a dropped armhole. But I do get a little bit glowy when people order older designs like the soft top, and they also go together quickly for me because I designed these things when I had fewer machines, so I can sit in one spot. I'm not threading a lot of different machines, so it always feels a bit like a vacation. Things I have to sew today are quite dark colored. I have this shirt and then I have a black tank top. And it's suddenly gotten very gloomy outside, so I have no idea how this footage is going to work out if it'll be too boring again. But people like black and I don't mind it. Just don't know if it's exciting enough for video. So this is the waistband going on now. If you don't want to draw a line across your upper hip, then we can color block the tiny T at the arms and the neckline and just either cut without a waistband or cut a waistband that's the same color as your shirt. Amanda and I did a bunch of cutting yesterday and this morning. And that was good to get that all done together because then I can sew ahead and get us all caught up on orders without worrying about how she's feeling or what else needs to be done. It's good to get that out of the way. So it's Tuesday and we're cut almost partly through next week. So of course my first instinct is just to sew everything right now, but there is a very clear list of orders for this week that I'd like to get done before I sew everything that was ever cut ever on my list, like I tend to do. And that means a lot of black. So that was the waistband, and then I'm putting the neckband in. I didn't used to be able to, but I can now with the industrial straight stitch. I can top stitch the neckband. I quite like the look of that. And I'm just snipping into my binding seam allowance here so that I can offset that at the back of the neck. And I really want to concentrate the compression really at the side front on this shirt. So I'm pinning with the bulk of the fullness here and just a little bit of extra fullness here. And that'll just pull in right here to make sure that the binding lays flatter and makes for less wardrobe malfunctions. And then we're going to stitch that neckband in. If you are, I find, let me think how to say this. I find that if I have a lot of fullness and I'm having trouble getting these layers to get along, I'll stitch with the greater fullness down because the feed dogs will pull that layer through more smoothly. But I like to watch that full layer to make sure it's not puckering. So I generally, if it's not something that's a worrying amount of fullness, I will sew it this way up, the shirt side up in this case. But it's definitely important to remember that the feed dogs will have a greater pull on the layer of fabric that they're meeting, and use that to your advantage anytime you're doing something where you have different fullnesses or one fabric is more slippery than the other. It's like, if you can think of it as it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's really handy sometimes girls like a really snug waistband on their pants, and my only concern is they can get them on, and if I can sew it on, we'll go for it. So that's the neckband, and then we're doing the armbands and then the top stitching. goes from lump of fabric to shirt. That looks pretty cute.